Welcome to Belmont Banter, the official podcast of Whitstable Town FC. Every week we chat to ex-players, supporters and invited guests here on Belmont Banter.
Welcome to the official podcast of Whitstable Town FC.
Whitstable Town Football Club's main sponsor is Fibertech UK Limited.
Hello again everyone and welcome to Belmont Banter, and we're on one of our regular catch-ups with the, let's call them the supporters, which in fact indeed they are, Rich and Steve. The last time we spoke, you guys, was I believe when we were talking early doors after the pre-season friendlies. And I don't think that we've done anything since. Well, it's been a bit of a turbulent time because obviously with the vacating of the manager's job with Lloyd, and we've got Keith in the frame. Interestingly enough, I was just saying to Richard, Steve, before you joined us, that I've just been listening to Keith. He's doing his podcast show right this minute, and he's just said he's very doubtful that there's going to be a game over at the Bay. He thinks that the signals that they're all getting, all the rumblings going on in the non-league game, are that it's going to be called off.
That'd be disappointing, really. But I don't know. I mean, the government have just said that there's nothing new, no new restriction. So I don't know. I saw something on Twitter earlier where somebody was saying, is it convenient for a few non-league teams to call off games around Christmas?
How would it be inconvenient when? I mean,
it's the best time for non-league, isn't it?
Keith just said.
Crowd.
Yeah, Keith just said, definitely getting on for 1,000 people at the Bay, without a doubt.
I would have thought so. Yeah. I mean, we had 850 at our place, so it's got to at least match that at the Bay.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see why it should be restricted personally because it's outdoors.
Yeah.
I know the players get changed in the changing rooms, and there's that angle. But it's 2 years down the line now. It's here. Let's just get on and live with it. Really.
All right. Let me just throw a couple of things at you. I was checking on the stats. I'm not stato by any means. I'm probably the world's worst for that because my memory's shot at times. But just to let you know this, I mean, look at our position at the moment. We're 15th in the league. HERNE BAY, I think, about 6th now. They were 4th or 3rd at one time. But we're 5th in attendances in the league at the moment, as of this weekend, and we're 3rd in the form table. Now, I'll throw this question at you: where would we be if we were, if we'd showed this recent form, at the beginning of the season? Where would we be now in those tables?
Third, yeah.
Third. well, I'll tell you what. Probably 3rd in attendances, yes, because you'd have Hastings would be 1st. That nobody's going to knock them off the perch, and whoever's going to be 2nd, it would be a bit of a toss-up, wouldn't it?
Haywood's Heath would probably be up there, wouldn't they? I would have thought.
Yeah.
And Ramsgate gets some, shall we say, dubious crowds. Yeah.
Yeah. Just check the photos. Where are they?
Yeah. Now they've got their new ice rink open near the ground. So
Well, yeah, but what a great idea! What a great idea that is. I mean, that is really thinking outside the box. For the local community, obviously the football club are going to benefit from it because it's not free. They're going to do well out of that.
I remember when there used to be a football club.
Yeah,
that's a bit cynical, Steve.
Other than an entertainment venue.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Well, ain't much more in Ramsgate to go to, is it? Really, considering.
Oh, you're jumping in as well now. Right, let's bring it back to football.
Ramsgate night.
Yeah, let's bring it back to football. All right.
Yeah.
Right. Look,
we've done really well recently. So, it's a dodgy start, but it took Keith a little while to get things going. Yeah, like you say, the last 4, 5, 6 games, if we'd been showing that throughout the season, we'd be right up there in the playoffs, wouldn't we?
Added to the fact that each week his injury list grows. I mean, he's got players injured that he'd like to put out on the pitch.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's crazy. It seems that every game get an injury that isn't just a minor thing. It's a more long-term issue.
No, I know. The other day, go on. Sorry, carry on.
Well, you got Gus. Obviously, is under Keith has always been a starter. Alex Gaggin, he came back Saturday, but again limped off. I think Ollie Gray, and they're all important players. So
yeah, they are.
Do them available really.
Keith didn't know anything much about Ollie Gray, and he was impressed with him. When Ollie was fit, Keith was impressed with him. He said he's really got something.
I thought at the start when Keith came along that perhaps he didn't fancy Ollie, but as you say, he probably didn't really know what sort of player he was.
No.
And when he actually gave him a go on the pitch, I think he showed what a wholehearted, what a good player he is. And in the centre of defence, he'll give you 90 minutes of heart and soul. So it's a real shame when obviously he got the injury down at Hyde, wasn't it?
Yeah. Let's just first of all congratulate Macca because he won the People's Vote of Team of the Week last week. So Macca came out as the top guy, which is brilliant. Absolutely thrilled to bits. And this week Sammy's in it, isn't he? So yeah, well done.
Yeah, Sammy's Zuma, and he's been really good since he came along. So
yes, he has.
What I like that about it, Tony, we are constantly getting players into that now. Every week it seems to be we got a player in it,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, which is nice.
Which is good. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, what I like with Keith, he's not scared to mix experienced players with youth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if someone comes along who he don't, someone might come along, he's seen them, don't like them, and they're gone. You know what I mean? So, and if they're not up to the state, not up to it. Now, I think the players he's brought in, who are there at the moment, are all up to it.
Without a doubt.
Without a shadow, you know what I mean? And he's obviously he's had to let a few go, but like like the trust fund are sponsoring one of the players, but we're only sponsoring one of the players, and he's done well what he's done, So that's it.
Richard, while you brought that up, could you explain to people that are listening a little bit about the trust fund, because they hear us sort of shouting about it from match days, but you don't really get the chance to explain to people exactly what's behind it and how much you're asking of them. I mean, have they got to commit to a weekly amount? How does it work?
Basically, Tony, it's a minimum of £5 a month. Yeah, which is like if we could, in a real world, if we get 50 people putting £5 a month in, then that'd be fantastic. You can, that's the minimum. You can pay more. There's some people paying £20 a month. Yeah, basically, all the money that goes through the trust fund, it just goes all towards the player's budget, end of, or even help buy a player. That's all it does. Yeah, it doesn't go towards a club for fix this or to fix that or to put the lights in or to mend the toilets. It's all basically money goes in that trust fund. It goes all towards the budget. So it basically increases his budget. And in this sense at the moment, I mean, there's one thing about lockdown, it did do us a favour that it did build up. And so it's helping us at the moment, funding one of the players. Plus, which is the unique thing about the trust fund, is that we do have a draw every 2 months where people can win money.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
There are trust funds around different clubs where that doesn't happen, but we've sort of got that little element into it, so it's a little bit of fun and people can win a little bit of money.
And how lovely the weekend that the family that won it, 40 odd quid, they put it back to the football club.
50 quid, gave it went straight back in the trust fund. At the moment, it's still in my wallet, but it will get into the bank tomorrow.
I did actually hear you say that you were going to borrow £10 of that because you wanted a pint.
Yeah, well, I didn't in the end because basically, because I won the large bowl of fruit at the raffle, I couldn't carry it home, so I got a lift home, so I didn't.
Oh, nice one. See, you just can't get away with these things. There's always someone looking over your shoulder.
It was, mate. Yeah.
Nice one. But you did actually say that to the guy, what you were going to do.
Oh, no, yeah. I was joking here about
it. I know you were. Yeah. Right, let's get back to the football. So well done, Macca, and well done, Sammy. That's really good. And Steve, you're absolutely right about, the fact that we're getting now players pushing themselves forward. I mean, if they've got a good performance, so they should get acknowledged, shouldn't they?
Definitely, yeah. And it shows the club's getting recognised. We went through a spell at the start of the season, perhaps last season, where we weren't getting featured that much in the local press, I didn't think. But I think Keith is more, he obviously does his the repost show and everything like that. I think he's more in tune with keeping the local press sort of up to date. And you now see every week they've got something about Whitstable Town. Now it should be, it's what people want to see. It doesn't have to be anything amazing, but it's just keeping that regular feed going through so that the club's in the spotlight and letting people know what's going on.
Well, your comment then just figures in nicely with the the latest podcast that Belmont Banter's done. We just done Peter Geese, and Peter Geese learnt his trade. I mean, he's worked for the BBC, he's done all sorts of stuff. He learnt his trade, local football, and he started off just sending in reports to the local paper, and that's all he did. And then he got asked to go, then he got asked to attend a game, then he started to get involved with radio, and he's done. He's followed Kent all over the country, and he's reported on every single test ground. Fantastic. He's had a great career.
Yeah, no, that's good. And it just and you sometimes find that you're just doing something that's really a hobby or a passion, and then after a while, if you do it well, then that can lead to something better.
Absolutely.
That's quite annoying, really, Tony. I used to send reports into the paper, mate, and I never got offered to go around the country. Maybe mine were too cheesy, things, like when we played, when our team played sandwich, I think I said that sandwich were toasted, you know what I mean, reports like that. I don't think they probably didn't like it. It's more Sunday sport, shall we say, than the Whitstable Gazette, shall we say,
Nice one. I don't know if you saw the result for Phoenix Sports the weekend. Now they're still bottom of the league, but they won 5-4, and beg your pardon, they won 5-2. They beat Burgess Town, and one guy scored 4 goals. A guy called Calvin Poku, P-O-K-U. Would you pronounce that Poku? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Poku. Yeah, on his debut.
On his debut, yeah. Where did he come from, Steve? Do you know?
I don't know. Don't know where they've signed him from.
No.
No. Obviously, he must be useful.
he must be useful. I mean, if he carries on,
he won't be there long if he keeps scoring 4 goals a game.
Oh, you just stole my thunder, Rich. I was just going to say the same. Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah. They move on very quickly when it's like that, don't they?
I think they've made a couple of new signings, Phoenix, which is the thing that's obviously quite difficult at our level of football, because there's no transfer window as such, and why should there be? You can be in trouble. Like East Grinstead have basically signed a whole new team, so you can be down at the bottom, but it only takes a few signings, and suddenly you can turn your form around. Well, look at us, the signings that Keith's brought in from an attacking perspective. Because I think for Phoenix as well on Saturday, I think they had a guy. I did have a read of that, and I think they had a guy who set up 2 or 3 of the goals for him, and he's played for them before, but I think he's recently come back from Romford, so he's obviously a decent midfielder.
Yeah.
Burgess Hill been doing well recently.
They have, yeah. I mean,
I think surprising result.
I mean, currently they're 10th. I mean, they got beat the weekend. They were probably 9th or 8th before that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they dropped down on him. Yeah, so they were doing okay. So it's quite interesting. So at the moment, the table, just for those that didn't know, I'm not going to run through the whole lot, but just at the top, you got Cray Valley, Ashford, Hastings United, Haywards Heath Town, and then Ramsgate. Are Haywards Heath a bit of a surprise for you, Steve, or do you expect them to be up there?
I'd say they're a surprise. Don't really know a lot about them, being a Sussex club, but I think they're decent, organised, well run. But I'd look at them being, quite close to the equivalent of us. They haven't been at this level long. I mean, we had the spell where we was up here for 9 seasons, then went back down for 2. But really, it's the highest level we've ever played at.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think it's the same for, Haywards Heath. It's obviously the highest they've played at. They're well run, like us, we're well run. You don't see them making big signings or look, they're splashing lots of cash. So, a team that I quite like. And I think their gates have gone up this season. I think they're getting 300-400 quite regularly now. So, similar to us. But, if I was guessing the table at the start of the season, I wouldn't have Haywards Heath up there.
No. And at the start of the season, I'm not trying to dig a knife in when people are down, but I mean, Hythe have really dropped off the radar a bit now, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they've obviously got financial worries with their budget. I have sympathy, but not. I think.
I don't.
It's just. I feel.
I wonder why.
Yeah. That's a private joke between the three of us that we will not share.
We'll cut to the long and short of the story. Yeah.
Very, 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 very cleverly put.
How we do it is that, listen, funny enough, at the start of the season, I did a thing for the pitching in, like to predict where teams are finished, yeah?
I've read it, yeah, it's good.
And I think I had 3 Bridges near the bottom, the usual suspects. Sittingbourne I had near the bottom, they've surprised me, I must admit, yeah. But one of the teams I did have around about 17th was Hive, because the rumour was then that they were going to be struggling for money.
Even then?
Even back then, there was a rumour that they were struggling. Yeah, and that was back in August. Now, obviously, they've gone so far. Now they have the pot's gone. Yeah. But you know what? I mean, I think with Lancing don't play their players. I think that was mentioned somewhere. So, I mean, if you're looking at teams in the bottom, you could see Phoenix getting out of it. You could see East Grinstead getting out of it. But I've still got a feeling that Lancing might end up. I know Lancing won at the weekend, but I don't know. I think they might end up near the bottom. And I think along with Hive and the other team, I think seem to be struggling with crowds well with Faversham.
Yes.
Whitstable Town Football Club's main sponsor is Fibertech UK Limited.
You know, there's no money seems to be going in there. I mean, again, there's another one, wasn't it? They had a stadium built for them and all that. Well, you know, the was going to get built. It's going to call the Shepherd Name, and that's no longer the case, is it? You know,
they're not sponsoring them anymore, are they?
No, don't sponsor them no more. You know, which is strange, really, considering it's a big employer in that town.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? I don't know anything about the finances of those. So, what about Corinthian? Do you know anything much about them? Rich, they're mid-table at the moment.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think they're a good working light team, and they seem to be, you know, they seem to have kept the same players that they've had for the last few years. I think every player's called Jack or Joe. I think. No, I mean, it's quite easy to shout out Jack for about 8 of them turn around. But you know, they're never going to be a crowd that's going to be, you know, going to get any fans or anything. You know, it's just where they're placed. They are in back bang in the middle of nowhere, aren't they?
They are. It is a difficult game. I mean, there must be a big surprise if somebody comes into the league and has to go and play them. It's a shock to them, isn't it?
You know, I think the first season they've held up well. Like the old saying, it's always the second season in the league which is the one that the decider. So, you know, they might struggle next year. Who knows? You know, but I can't ever see them getting any further than this because of their ground. There's no way that ground. I'm surprised the ground has got through to this level, let alone, you know, Kent League. You know what I mean? You know, SKEFL.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, isn't it? Stevie, this thing now 3 up, 3 down, or however it's going to work, is this the way forward that they're going to do it forever now then, or what? Or is it just an adjustment?
No, I think with the pyramid as it is now, you've got 8 divisions at our level, 16 at the level below, which is SKEFL Prem. It will be, I think the plan is that is how it'll be. It'll be in the Isthmian South East, the bottom 2 will go down automatically. Third from bottom and fourth from bottom will go into a playoff with teams that finish second at the level below. So the top team will go up out the SKEFL, and then teams that finish second, they go into a playoff, third from bottom and fourth from bottom. This season, it's only third from bottom because there's so many gaps in the pyramid.
Further down the pyramid, yeah. I understand.
Further up, there's teams.
Further up,
teams missing in the National League. Obviously, they're one short. Teams missing at National North and South. So to fill those up, there's less teams going down at our level, which is obviously I thought was a bonus early doors because you didn't want to finish full from bottom and end up in a playoff. But I'm confident that we're going to be well away from that now.
I hope so. I mean, nice, comfortable mid-table.
There should be a chance for 2 to go up out of the SKEFL. I mean, we came up finishing second, but that was only because there's having a reorganisation there.
Yes, that's right.
Previously, it was only 1 team going up. Now to have the chance of the second team going up is right because some of those teams down there are far better than teams at our level.
Yes,
you know, Chatham and Sheppey and Glebe.
Deal.
Yeah, it's money.
You know, you can throw quite a few names in, can't you? Yeah.
But with those, it's, you know, it might be money that's making them that much better, but well, that's football all over. So, you know, it becomes a bit of a bottleneck if it's only 1 up. So, you know, if you had, you know, the likelihood is that it'd be Sheppey and Chatham that would come up, and they would only add to our division. They'd only add to the league.
Definitely.
Both well-supported clubs, traditional clubs. You know, obviously Chatham and Sheppey were high up at one stage in the old days before they had money problems, as most clubs have. So, I think that's a good thing. There should be more changes between divisions rather than, you know, just have one coming up.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, that thing about the, you know, the higher and lower divisions and moving everybody up and down. I mean, years ago, how often? I mean, back in the Kent League days, 15 years ago, you never got promotions, did you? Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, you finished top and you couldn't get promoted because there was no official way of doing it. It'd have to be somebody dropping out for you to be able to go up, wasn't it? I think. Yeah,
I mean, when I speak to Tommy Sampson about it, and also to the Ward boys, they're nearly tearing their hair out at the time, because I think Danny and Jimmy, well, Jimmy particularly, he won it twice on the trot and still didn't get promotion. I know Tommy did as well. He didn't get promotion when he was at the Bay. He won it at the Bay and they didn't get promotion.
I mean, a lot of football supporters only saw it in the old days when you couldn't get relegated out of the Football League. You went up for a re-election, and the club that finished top of whatever the division was then, it probably even before the conference, would never get promoted, because somebody'd have to be voted out basically for you to take their place. And unless it was a club that all the rest of the teams didn't like, then you had little chance.
You go back to that, Steve. That was when Wimbledon came into the league in '77. Say Workington Town used to finish bottom every single year, and they never ever got voted out every single year. I mean, it was only because Wimbledon did something exceptional that year that they actually smashed the Southern League Premier, and had that fantastic cup run when they drew against Leeds, that people had to take note. And then obviously they got voted in. They got voted in, and Workington got voted out. And I think it was the following season where Wigan did a similar thing, not so much in the cup, but I think they smashed the Northern Premier, and by lots of points, and they got voted in as well. And I think that was the sort of the turning point. And then they had to decide that there are teams in these lower divisions that are a lot better than the team in the divisions above.
Because it was the team that kept missing out. Was it Altrincham? When I was young, I sort of remember them as being the best non-league team, but they always missed out. They never got voted in.
And they never have done. I mean, the only thing you look at Wimbledon and Wigan, they've both gone into play in the Premier League, and they both went on to win the FA Cup. They're not that bad, are they?
No, absolutely.
They've probably both beaten Southampton along the way as well, I'm guessing.
Who hasn't?
Steve, how did your Scottish team get on the weekend?
Clyde, I think they lost.
I think it got abandoned. Did it get abandoned?
It got abandoned, didn't it? They were losing and it got abandoned.
Oh, I bet they all cheered then.
That was a bonus.
Yeah.
Why was it abandoned, Steve? Anyone idea why it's abandoned?
Funny enough, I don't know. I would have found out tonight because I was supposed to play five-a-side. My mate that helps them out plays, but my back's been giving me a bit of gyps, so I've decided it was best to admit my age a bit and not play.
It's hard though, isn't it, when you have to do that? It is hard.
Wasn't the old Walton Casuals floodlit failure ones, was it?
It may well have been, because it's not.
Remember them time?
Yes, I do.
Floodlit failures against Walton Casuals when we went there twice and were winning both times. And
the floodlights went. Yeah. The most famous one must be Charlton, mustn't it? God blimey. There was some skullduggery going on with that though, wasn't there?
Well, I think there was some skullduggery going on at Walton Casuals, mate, because the third time they won. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Oh yeah, allegedly. Yeah, very, very true. Very true. Right, if this game does go on against the Bay, how do you feel we're going to get on? Bearing in mind, and you both know the comments that I've made about this, about the fact that the answer goal really wasn't a goal, and we've got it on video. It happened outside the box, and he went down. He went down very theatrically, shall we say? And he admitted it afterwards with a smile. I mean, after the event, you can say, can't you? He's already got the penalty. He can then turn around and say, well, hard luck. But we were well in the game. I mean, all right, I know they beat us in the end 2-1, but that goal set them on the road, because that was the opening goal.
Yeah, it's one of those things. When it goes against you, you're a bit miffed about it. If it goes for you, you laugh about it and go.
Oh, of course you do. Yeah, I mean, Zach was laughing about it in the bar afterwards. It's just one of those things. You just take it, don't you?
He stayed behind for a bit afterwards.
He was there. He was talking to Laney, and Laney was teasing him about it and asked him outright, and he just came and said no. He said it was outside the box. He said I thought I was only going to get a free kick, and he said, but when he said penalty, I thought I'd take that. So he was quite straight about it.
Yeah, no honesty in the game these days, Tony.
No, never. So how do you think we're going to do then if it goes ahead over Christmas? What do you reckon's going to happen? What's your prediction? First? Yeah, go on.
I'm going to say we're going to win 3-1.
Positive, blimey.
And I'll tell you why, as you might thinking behind this, yeah? First of all, I think, the only thing I think we might have a problem with is that, I suppose, like HERNE BAY, we've got a lot of London-based players. And if COVID kicks in, I think we could end up losing a few. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That might go against us, and I think that could be the same for them as well. Now, I looked at their team sheet Saturday, HERNE BAY.
Yeah.
And I think they had 3 subs. Millbank wasn't playing. I don't know why that is. And maybe Christmas time. He didn't play last Christmas, I remember rightly. But I honestly think they're struggling to get a team out.
Oh, right.
And, they've lost a couple of players. Tom Phipps, he left and he's now in Lewis's first team.
Yeah, so I read about that, yeah.
I mean, Rory Smith and Kieran Campbell, I think they're up for having operations soon. I think he could be struggling to get a side. Yeah. Now, again, a lot of it could be COVID. You know, we lost a couple of players through COVID at the weekend, didn't we? I think Tom Mills didn't play. Yeah, and 1 or 2 of them are missing. I don't know, mate. I mean, like, I just fancy us to. I think we could be a bit fired up. I think Keith could fire them up. I think we could get a result. Really do. And I'm just sticking neck out and say 3-1 because I think they might underestimate us.
I think they will. But go on then, Stevie. Your 2 penneth.
I would say I'll say what I say before every game. I'll take a draw. I think when we played them early in the season, we were well in it, but in those early games of the season, we were lacking something to get positive results out of games. We didn't seem to have just that extra edge to do that. So I think whatever the players, whatever players they've got out, is we've got players that will fight for the result now.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think HERNE BAY is still a decent side. Whether they've got a few players missing or not, they've got quality in there, and is
that not travel expenses, Steve? Allegedly.
I'm moving along.
Funny to say that.
Oh, lovely. Oh, goodness me. How nice. Oh, lovely.
Yeah,
yes, pieces of silver. All right. My 2 penneth then, as you two have had a go. I'm going to really take Stevie's view as well. I'm going for probably 1-1, but with a caveat. And I reckon it's going to finish 2-1. And the reason I think that we might even nick it 2-0, because we've been very solid. If we get our big lad back in, because I know we missed him the weekend in a way, but we've got Junior in now. And if we got the big lad alongside him, and I'll tell you who's impressed me as well, Tom Mills. I think he's really come on a bit. He really has. He's unflustered. It's good.
Well, it's quality. He played a long time for Maidstone.
Yeah, he is good.
And I think now, maybe early in the season, when we weren't quite the finished article, maybe his performances didn't seem as good as you might have expected. But now that he's got a definite solid defence around him, and also importantly the midfield as well that fight, because your defending starts from the front.
Definitely.
You can have 4 or 5 brilliant defenders. They're still going to let in goals if they're the only people defending.
Totally
your midfield do their work as well. You can't totally be under the cosh. You can have the best defenders in the world. There's still going to be something that goes in.
Yeah, that's right. You're dead right.
Unless they're protected as well. They can only do so much. So I think you're right. We've played a better shape. Tom Mills has looked superb.
He has, hasn't he?
Quality player that we know that he is.
He's looked good.
But it's interesting. It's interesting where Keith's. He's moved. Jake is suddenly a really sort of utility player. We played him in midfield. Yeah, playing really well in midfield.
Yeah, did look good.
Did the same with Gus Barnes. He brought him back he played at right back. So he's like he knows a bit about his players. He knows where to play them. This is is what I found very interesting. They're not just set in the same position all the time.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about Keith is that he likes to work a lot on training on set pieces as well. That goal at Sevenoaks, they worked on that in the week. I mean, it was so fluid the way it went. It looked as if they'd done it 100 times. It was a lovely goal. Really, really was. But, he really does. He likes to... One other person that we haven't spoken about, and partly because he's not been around, only because he's been unwell, and that's George McElroy. He's a good lad, isn't he? The young kid.
Since obviously when he was first playing at the early part of the season, he got injured. But since he's came back, started the last 2 games, I think.
Yes.
He's quality. He's got if he can progress, stay injury free. He's got a good future ahead of him. I think he's got great control. He's strong as well for his age.
He is, isn't he? Yeah.
But he can see a pass, and I'd love to see him in the team every week.
Me too. Okay.
Starting.
All right, lads. I think
that's one thing that Keith's done is when he came early part of the season, we looked lackluster. He's brought in players with energy.
Yeah,
so we seem far more mobile around the pitch. Sorry, my cats are having a fight. Getting back and defending distracted me. And great attacking. So,
yeah, all the sound effects now are very, very good. Well,
dog's gone over to investigate, so elite one.
Tell you what, though, just keep an eye on that new lad. He's got Callum Watts. He could be a useful player.
Yeah, he's got energy, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I asked Keith on Saturday. I said, "What's this new lad like, Keith?" He said, "Tone, you wait till you see him up and down the pitch." He said he's a metronome. He just keeps going, keeps on going, and he's got quality as well, which is what you need. All right, boys. You got anything else to add to that, or we better wrap it up about now?
Yeah, well, just let you know about if anyone is listening to this in Whitehawk, could they please send Wally's red hat back?
Oh, very good.
He was so upset at losing that hat. Really, really was.
Was it in the pub? Was it in the pub or the bar?
No, it's really in the car park. Yeah.
Car park.
Yeah. However, went to the next game, and we got the game Saturday, and they got a load of them for sale.
Oh right. So, he's all right now.
He's got a new one there. We bought him one.
Yeah, one of the new hats. Yeah.
Anything from you, Stevie, or are you finished now?
I'm done.
You're done, and I'm done as well. All right, lads. Thanks again. Good chat. I enjoyed it. Bit of fun. That's all it is a bit of fun. All right.
Yeah.
So from me here at Belmont Banter and Richard and Stevie on the other end of Zoom, we'll say cheerio for now, everyone, and we'll see you at the game. And by the way, if you do get to a game and you want to chat, just go up to Richard and Stevie. Just leave me alone, but talk to Richard and Stevie, and you can tell them all your woes. They'll love that. Particularly Steve. He likes to listen to people's woes.
All right, I'll point them your way. Don't worry.
All right, you two.
Can I just say one more thing, Tone?
Well, you always like to, Richard. I don't think I'm going to stop now.
Just like to wish all our listeners a Merry Christmas, mate.
Oh, how nice of you. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, very good like that. Yeah, for ho, 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 and a Merry Christmas from me as well. Well done, Steve. Take care. All right, boys. Well done. Take care. Cheers.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Whitstable Town Football Club's main sponsor is Fibertech UK Limited. They are providers of optical fibre services to the telecoms industry, specialising in optical fibre provision, local and long haul. We offer a full turnkey solution to our clients throughout London and the south of England. Contact us through the website for more details.
Your host, Tony Rouse, every week on Belmont Banter for news about local football in Kent and beyond.
I do hope that you've enjoyed today's episode of Belmont Banter. Don't forget there's a new episode out every week which comes out on a Sunday night, early Monday morning. And you can leave your suggestions for a guest to invite at the end. And leave a like, and don't forget to pass it on to all your mates. Cheers!